Hey everybody, in today's video what we're going to focus on is one advanced trading technique of the Ichimoku cloud. So recently we did a basic video just explaining the parts, how to use it, and how to use triggers. It's important to understand this system and understand that this is a complete trading system. By complete, I mean that there are a lot of people that utilize this system that don't even think of using anything else but this. No other indicators. I'm not one of those people, but it does exist, and I understand why it does exist. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to explain one way to utilize the entire system together. And we're just going to touch base on a couple key points that we went over in the basic video. But I would recommend that you watch the basic video before you watch this one. And on top of that, I would subscribe to the channel, click notifications, because there's going to be several parts of this cloud and what you can do with it. So let's just start. So to start with, let's just begin, okay? And what we're going to look at is this yellow line. So let's go here and let's just clean everything up and stay hyper focused, okay? So let's get rid of this and these and these, and we'll get rid of these for a moment, okay? And all we're going to do is focus on this is the conversion line, okay? So the yellow is your conversion line. You can make them any color that you want. And essentially, we walked through what this is before and how it is calculated. But it's based upon 9 days of high-low. For the exact calculation, it's in the other video. This video is going to be more advanced and streamlined. So you can see this line, and you can see that this is the conversion line, also known as the fast line. Just keep that in mind as we proceed. This is your baseline. Your baseline essentially is a combination of what? 26 days high lows, okay? And this is what's referred to as your static or slow line, okay? Now, if you put these two in, what you're looking at is you're looking at very cleanly your conversion or fast line or your baseline or slow line, okay? And you can see how they move and how they affect what's going on here. Now, let's just throw this in very quickly so you can see what this actually is telling you. Now, the cloud is referred to as Kumu. We're going to refer to it as the cloud. And we're going to put this in, and I just want to point this out. So now I'm going to go up here, and I just want to black out price for a moment. So what you're going to notice by me blacking out price is that this is pretty much this going forward. Okay, so in other words, what you're seeing here is this is a combination of the leading span and lagging span, and we're going to review that in a moment. But what you're seeing is what happens here happens in the future. Okay, and let me just highlight a couple areas of that. You can see what I'm talking about. See how you're highlighted here and how the black is denoted as price. Okay, and then what happens going forward. You can see it right here. Okay, and you can see the little turn. Now let's just take another sample of that so that we're on the same page. Oops, and we're just going to click on this, pull this down. And we're going to just expand this out to here. Okay, and you can see this whole section right there. And now we just drop this section going forward over here. So you can see how this is determining where the cloud's going to be. Now that you understand that, and you may want to watch this a couple times, I understand that these are very difficult concepts to grasp, and it takes a little time because most people are used to simpler concepts. And let's get rid of these rectangles for a moment. So now what you have is you have the conversion and baseline, and you can see how they completely form the cloud. And they show what the cloud's going to look like in the future. Okay, so that determines what the cloud looks like in the future, and you can see exactly how this is actually a leading indicator. Now, what you want to understand a little bit of is just, and we go into this in the basic video, but just understand that this is leading span A in green, okay? And that is essentially a combination of these two lines going forward. And that the red line is leading span B, okay? Some people refer to it as the major baseline. Either way, look at it as a leading indicator, red, and that's denoting it. Okay, so you're going to see these crosses of green versus red, red versus green, and we're going to get into that in a moment. But one of the numbers that people don't look at a lot that are on here, and I refer to them as numbers because that's what they are, but they're these spans, these indicators, this one people tend to overlook. And it's a huge mistake. It's probably one of the greatest mistakes that people make with this indicator. And today, as I stated, this is a trading system. So I'm simply going over one way to use the entire system today. There will be other videos that will show very clearly how to use this several different ways as a trading system. But this is one, and it's very prominent for people that are looking to buy. So essentially, this blue line, okay, is your lagging line. And all this line is, okay, this line is 26-day closes. Okay, so you can see how it lags and mimics price, right? We can see that. So now, just to make this even clearer, let me put this line here and go right here. And what we're going to do is just click on this. I'm just going to make this white for a moment and just make this pretty clean so that you can see it. Okay, so by looking at this, the blue is the lagging line, the white is price, and you can see pretty clearly how this is just simply lagging, that if you could actually move this line forward, it would fit perfectly into that line. By using a line instead of candlesticks, it simply just shows up better. So they're the parts of it, and now understanding that in that little synopsis, just a little review, I want to just give you one system, and this is one way to use the whole system, and you're going to need 4 very specific points, okay? So we're going to start with those points. Let me just clean this all up for a moment and click this off. So the very first thing that you're going to need, and this is for a buy on an entry, and I'm going to walk you through the exit as well. You need to understand what the cloud is, okay? And we know what that cloud is now, right? We're fully aware that the Kumu, or cloud, okay, is a combination of leading span A and leading span B. So this is a really simple thing to get your head around. If you're ever in the cloud, okay, there's no trade to be had. So if you're ever in the cloud, according to this system, and we're just focusing on this system, there's no reason to be doing a trade, period. Okay, it's when you're on either side of the cloud that potential exists. In the middle, think of it as no man's land. Nothing's been determined. Okay, so I just want to get that concept out there first. Now, let's go here and click on this. And what we're going to do is focus on just the key things that you need to look on. The very first thing that we're going to get you to focus on is this, part 1, okay? You know that there's no trades inside, okay? So the very first thing that you must do is this lagging indicator, this must be above price in order to do a trade. If the lagging indicator is not above price, there is no trade. Okay, and what I'm giving you is one way to use this system. I can't stress that enough. There are people that will take out the lagging indicator, and we're going to do more advanced videos, but I really want to hammer that home. I'm going to give you 4 points because this is probably the most, in my opinion, it's one of the most highly probable ways to do this for an effective, accurate trade. So you must be above this line, the lagging line, okay? Now, leading A must be above leading B. Well, that's very simple to do and understand. So we just put leading A in and leading B in. Okay? And make them these colors because we're so used to it with our candlesticks. So I just make them green and red. It's very simple. You know, greens go, red stop. It's not, don't make it too complicated. Trading's hard enough. So you can see how flipping here, we're meeting a couple of these criteria. Well, I'm above price on the lagging. Green is flipping red. So leading A is above leading B, which is, as we also refer to it, the major baseline. Okay? Now, see that pretty cleanly right here. Okay, so next part. Your conversion line must be over your baseline. Okay, so your conversion line must be over your baseline. So to review these 4 points, if price is inside the cloud, no matter what else is executing, there's no trade. Your lagging span needs to be above the cloud. The leading A must be above leading B. In our case, green must be above red. Your conversion line must be above your baseline. When all 4 of those criteria are met, no matter how little the magnitude, you have a trade. And by magnitude, I mean, I don't need one of these big, great, I can execute based upon something like this. So let me just give you an example. Here you have a flat line on the cloud. You're above the cloud, right? And some people would execute because you're above the cloud. And you could execute here on here, and that would be great. What I want is confirmation. So, and again, one way. So here I have leading span A crossing leading span B. I have conversion above baseline, and I have lagging up here. Okay, so meeting all those criteria allow me to put that trade on, and allow me to put that trade on here when most people, including myself, are looking at candlestick patterns, right? But this would have gotten you in that trade right here with a leading indicator moving up and over. Okay. Now you're in the trade, and this is your entry. And you can see how you're doing. Now, the very first thing that we're going to focus on here is when would you get out of that trade now that you understand when you're supposed to be in it? The very first thing I'm going to give you are points and signs to exit, okay? I don't want to just give you the confirm to exit. I want you to understand the signs. So when you understand these signs, you can start using them to see periods of underperformance, even though the chart's breaking out. And that's exactly what happened here. So the number one sign is that when the lagging is below price, lagging below price means you're getting to the point where you're going to want to exit the trade. Now, if you exit it solely based upon that, which some people do, okay, this is where you got out. All right, so that's something else to concern yourself with, because if you did that, you missed a percentage of the move. Okay, you would have missed 6% in 3 weeks. Now, as we continue to go up, the next sign that we want that we may have an issue is lagging is below, plus your conversion line is now below. Okay, so we have the lagging below, we have the conversion line below, and the final move and confirmation is when your conversion line breaks your baseline, and then you're out of the trade. So you can see pretty clearly how you would enter down here and you would have exited out here. And look at the complete underperformance since we've been below, and now we're below the cloud. So you might want to watch it a couple times. I'm going to give you another example, and I plan on doing more of these, but again, it's a complete trading system. Please share this with people. I get some great ideas on what people want to see by you sharing this. I can't stress that enough. I probably wouldn't have done this indicator or did the first cloud video unless people in the comments were talking about it. So please comment on this and share it. So I want to put out content that people actually want, that they're seeing value in. So let's just walk through those 4 steps again and see if we can find another example of them. Okay, so We cross right here. Conversion crosses baseline. Well, that's good, but the trade's negated. Why is the trade negated here? Okay, the trade is negated because we're in the cloud. So when you're in the cloud, that criteria is not met. There's no trade to execute out of the cloud. So let's just look at this for a moment. You're now out of the cloud. Your conversion line is crossing. Okay, you've crossed back here where leading span A is above leading span B, right? And we're above. And the lagging is up here. So this is where you execute. And I want to just point something out. So you can see this, and it's one of the only leading indicators that are out there. And I try to focus on leading indicators versus lagging. And I just want to point something out to you. If you were just looking at this chart, okay, you could argue that, yes, maybe I'm buying that break in this wedge line right here, right? Maybe you're saying, okay, I'll just do that trade. But imagine having the ability to spot wedge lines and then utilize this with them, right? You're becoming a sniper. Okay, your proficiency level is going to go up and up and up. And you can see that the lagging line, even though we're pushing up and people are saying, oh, we're going too high, the lagging line is not doing what? Is not below it. Even though we cross here, it doesn't matter because all the exit criteria have not been met. Therefore, you'd still be in the trade. So that's it. I hope you found this helpful. Next video, I will show you how to use short. It's a little more complicated. There's a couple more signals that actually can build up the proficiency of that trade. And there's a couple other key ones I'll go over, and I'll keep pumping these out as long as people find value in them. Everybody, enjoy your day. Trade sharp.